Hi, everyone. Welcome to the coffee break. I'm so happy to have you here for our second coffee break. As you all know, this is a new segment that we're doing to highlight event professionals who are doing great things in our industry, who are trailblazers, who are creating something new, and who's really here to help our industry. And so, before we actually get started and interview our phenomenal event professional and creative that's next, we want to actually ask you a question. So, I have a question that I'm putting in the chat now, if you all can look into the chat. And it basically asks, what is something you struggle the most with in your business? Whether that's marketing and getting more clients, pricing my services and understanding costs, clerical work, and finding time to manage everything. So let me know what you're having some struggles with. If you want to put in the chat that you're having struggles with all of the above, you're more than welcome to put that as well. But let me know what you're having the most struggle with. Like, this is it. It's like a deal breaker for my business. And I really need you and Kavia to help me out, sis. Okay, so while we're waiting on those to come in, one second. So we do have one person that said they are having some trouble in clerical work. One person said they're having a little bit of trouble in marketing and getting more clients. And then another person said finding time to manage everything. So we're going to hit some of those pointers, talk about some of those things. Oh, we have two people now that are having trouble with marketing and getting more clients. So we're going to hit some of those pointers. In the meantime, I want you to put into the chat who you are, maybe your name and your business name, and where you're from. What city and state you are from, and so that we know who all is joining us and who we're talking to along the way. Okay, and in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and allow our great guest to introduce herself. We have Miss Event Planner, Designer, Virtual Assistant, Kavia. If you can introduce yourself and all your accolades, have at it. The floor is my dear.
Hi, my name is Kavia. I am a virtual assistant, event planner, and designer based out of New York. What else?
What's your fun fact?
Oh, my fun fact is I love to create things. I find myself on the computer every day, all day, just creating new things. And it's not necessarily that I'm creating it for a client or myself. I just like the aspect of creating.
Yeah, for sure. I can understand that. Don't we all?
Yeah.
So we're going to hop right into it. We do see that some people are putting in the chat, but in the meantime, we're going to hop right into some of our questions that we have for you. So tell us, Kavia, how you got started in the event planning industry before you even started your virtual assistant business. What was it like for you getting started in events?
I feel like when I was a kid, I've always wanted to plan weddings and events. I had this little book that I found in one of like the little thrift stores, and I bought it. And it had like dress swatches, and it had like types of weddings and all this stuff. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to be a planner. And I didn't take the step to doing it after I graduated with my associate's degree in fashion merchandising. So I took the course. It was a three and a half month course, and then I got certified, and then I just started from there. I've been
How
planning
was
before that, but not like professionally or with a certificate.
Yeah. So how was the certification process for you? Like, did you find it difficult to get through? Was it helpful in your career? A lot of people ask all the time, like, should I get certified? Do you feel like it was worth it?
I think it was because you learn things that you never know, and the one thing is you learn how to price. We struggle with learning how to price, and that's one of
Sure.
like one of the big things that I was just like, okay, I can't do things for free anymore because now I have a certificate and now I have more knowledge on the industry than what I had before.
And did you immediately transition, or did you go ahead and open your event planning company with design as a service immediately? Or was it something that you just added on over time?
Immediately, because I feel like sometimes I'm more of a designer than a planner. And it
Yeah.
also depends on which client, but I love designing and planning too. But it's like sometimes a duo for me.
Okay. So what made you open your virtual assistant company? And are they two separate companies or are they under the same umbrella?
Well, right now they are two separate companies. I am in the process of rebranding, so putting both of the businesses together and just calling it Just K. Right now it's Just KVA and Just K Events. And how I started was as I was taking my certificate in event and wedding planning, my teacher, she said that she needed an assistant. So after we graduated, she interviewed me to be her assistant, and she hired me. And it's like, okay, I'm going to teach you all these things, or you can do all these things for me. Think about making a virtual assistant company. And I'm just like, what's a virtual assistant? So after a couple of months of me learning and building up my skills, I said, I'm going to be a virtual assistant. So I started my business that way.
Cool. So I know that when you and I talked previously before, for those of you who don't know, Kavia and JussKayVa is a official sponsor of the Planners Corner, and so we're so thankful to have you as a sponsor and to interview you both, right? But I know that when we were talking throughout the sponsorship stages, you talked a lot about wanting to open your business because you had some concerning points or pain points, as you called it, that event planners had. And so what were those pain points that let you know, hey, these people or this industry is really going through and they need help or they need assistance?
Number one, I would say social media. Just because we don't have time to post on social media some of the times, and we have a lot of beautiful photos that we want to get out, but it's just the fact of how do we get it out and
Yeah.
how do we target our audience. And then the next one is getting pictures of you working in action. It's very hard as a planner to get photos of you working in action. So I would say, like, even your assistant, take pictures of you and the bride, or the host of the party doing something so that you can showcase that on your website and on your social media. So you have something and you put your face to the brand.
I know when I first started, that was the trouble for me. I was like, I don't want to attach my face with this brand. I want it to be separate.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give someone who's like, no, I'm not really ready or willing to put my face attached to this brand yet. I just want it to be a standalone brand in itself. What advice would you give to that person?
I feel like sooner or later you're going to have to put your face to the brand, but if you do, probably like start taking selfies. I feel like just start taking selfies and then probably hire the professional photographer, or do pre-recorded videos so that you don't have the pressure of doing lives, and
Yeah,
just post it every now and then, because they're not going to buy from you if they don't see a face or they don't feel a connection from you at all.
that's true. When I started actually attaching my face to my brand, I received so much more recognition, so many more people, or so many more clients, right? So many more people were interested in booking. So, true statement. So, with your virtual assistant company, what services do you offer, or what are some of your top, I guess you can say your top 3 to 5 services that you offer that a lot of planners come to you for?
Number one, social media marketing. Uh,
Yeah.
one of the main ones. Number two is email marketing. So it can be like newsletters or building your email list. Basic admin work. So right now, especially for event planners and designers, managing your inventory or just managing your clients. Um, 4 and 5, it can be anything. I feel like those are like the main three that everyone needs. Oh, websites. A lot of people don't have a website. So building or managing a website, keeping it updated with blogs and pictures as well, keeping your contact information available. A lot of people, they don't have contact information on their websites or their social media. So how can we contact them?
Right. For
Yeah.
sure. That. Okay. So, um, what would you say is one of your biggest accomplishments since starting your virtual assistant company? I know that you are celebrating 2 years of starting your virtual assistance
Yeah,
company,
I
and
am.
so that's some congratulations to
Thank
that.
you. Thank
We should definitely always celebrate. For everyone that's in the chat, we should always celebrate, milestones, whether they're big or small, 1 year, 6 months, whatever that looks like, whatever you feel comfortable with celebrating. But tell me, outside of making 2 years, what was something that was like a big accomplishment for you?
I really thought about this question, and the one thing that stuck out to me was booking my first VA client, actually, because I was still in the process of building the brand and, getting everything in place. And I got a consultation call, word of mouth, and I didn't even have a contract yet. So I feel like that was like super like amazing, but then I had to, step up my work and
Yeah,
have
figure it
everything
out.
ready in those 3 days for me to send out the everything by Monday. So I feel like that
Yeah.
was like a great accomplishment for me because I did it in those 3 days. And I got, her everything that she needed and everything I told her I would provide for her.
Yeah, meeting deadlines is super important, especially in our industry, right? Deadlines are always a thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of booking your first client through your VA company, um, what is the average cost for a virtual assistant? Or what would you say? Well, we'll stick to one question at a time. What is the average cost for a virtual assistant and for
Uh,
your service?
It also depends on your, I would say, your location. Since I am located in New York is very expensive anyway. So we do have to charge according to, our location. We charge according to, let's see, we charge according to our expertise. So our experience in one thing can cost more than something else. Um, that's basically how we charge. Pricing can be from either $20 an hour to $40 an hour. Um, and I feel like my lowest package is like 175, but I'm always willing to work on budgets as well. But that's the lowest package at the moment.
So, what would you say to someone maybe who's on this chat or on this call who's looking for a virtual assistant for their business? They feel like they have a lot going on, maybe they have a lot of clients, or COVID just kind of got the best of them. What would you say to that client that feels like they can't fit it in their budget, right? I can't fit that service in my budget, but I really need that service.
I would say first, don't make your first choice because you might find how would I say it? You might find a better connection with somebody else, and it's just like, okay, this is the first person that you've met. So you want to make sure that you have a great connection with the person that you're hiring for your business, because without that connection, it's like, oh, she or he is not doing what I want them to do because they're not understanding me. So I feel like the person has to understand you in order for you to, start helping them in their business.
You know what? It's something that you just said in this that I want to pull out that I actually really love, Kavia. And it's that a lot of us feel like, hey, we found this person, they're at a really good rate, it fits in my budget, boom, let's hire them. But no one pays attention to if that person can really relate to your business and really understand like what you're doing in business, right? And that's the good thing about your company is with your company, you are already an event planner. And so you understand what that looks like and what that means to another event planner or another event professional. Where other people who are virtual assistants, and no shade to them because they probably do amazing work, but I remember, when I first started hiring people onto my team to help out, that some of the people that, applied were people who weren't even in the event industry, not even a piece of a bit. They have never done anything. And it's okay to have someone green, but I also need someone that understands,
Yeah.
like, hey, this is important and time sensitive, and this is why it's important. And let's consider the bride or the client or whatever have you. So definitely scouting out all of your options and making sure you're weighing them correctly and not just going with the first person that you see that is cheap. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So, if there was one thing that you would change about our industry, what would that be and why?
Having our weekends. We don't get our weekends, especially during the busy season. I would say probably sometimes on the off season, but people are still having birthday parties and celebrations on the off seasons too. But I would say, more family time, more us time, less stress
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's what I would change.
And Amber put into the chat, we're going to get into Q&A portion in a few minutes after we get questions, but we're going to come back to Amber's question in just 1 second. So I did want to address that. My next question for you would be, is there any service that you would say this is out of our lane, we can outsource this, or this is not something that I'm willing to offer?
I haven't had that happen to me, but for me personally, I do outsource my logos. So I would go to like Fiverr or Etsy and get a logo. So that's one thing that I would outsource. But of course, I'll be speaking to the person that I am outsourcing to for the business owner so that they don't, need to respond to that person, or they'll just give me everything that they need for the logo.
Yeah.
Another thing is WordPress websites. I know how to manage them, but I just don't know how to code them and build them.
Okay.
So, okay.
Honestly, with WordPress, it's so tricky. My original website that I built along years ago, forever ago, and I wish I could pull it up and show it to y'all because it was trash. But years ago, I created a website through WordPress, and you're right, the coding was horrible. So I kind of switched over to Wix. Do you use any other platforms like Wix or Squarespace to create people's websites?
Wix, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ionos or Ionos, something like that. Squarespace I've used before, but yeah, those are not as bad as WordPress. Like I can manage it. I just don't know any coding at the moment.
Yeah, makes total sense. Okay. Um, is sorry. Does your VA company help event professionals come up with pricing structures? So, will you help them create pricing packages and what's to be included and so forth from there? Do you help with that piece?
Yes, I do. Depending if you already have that system in place or if you're just starting out, we look at all the aspects of, like your time. You have to charge for your time. You have to charge for setup. You have to charge for breakdown. A lot of people don't charge for certain things like that. And consultations, you have to charge for your consultations. So all of that has to be built into your packages. If you have packages, or if you just have a list of services that you offer, or just a simple task or backdrops or whatever, and include include that into your pricing. So yeah, I do work with them. And also, taxes, you have to charge your a fee for taxes as well.
I'm so happy that you said that. A lot of people, and even for me, the first couple of years in business, I stopped. I didn't charge for taxes, and I should, right? And it bites you in the butt later on. And so,
Mhm.
for those of you that are logged on and paying attention, make sure that you are charging for your taxes, sis. Okay.
And
Um,
uh, continue.
go, no, go ahead.
For me, my virtual assistant business, I can't charge taxes because I guess it's like a digital service or an online service. So I cannot personally charge taxes. But for my event planning company, I have to make sure that I turn that part on when I am booking an event planning client.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you say that you can't charge the taxes for the digital portion, is that because of the state that you're in, or is that something that you find to be like worldwide?
Worldwide, because when I first started, I wasn't charging at all, but a light bulb came on my head one day and was just like, should I be charging taxes? So I went to all these Facebook groups, different like VA Facebook groups, and I asked the question. Whoever responded to me first, I was just like, okay, but they said that we should not be charging people with taxes.
Okay. So it's almost like creating the service and making sure that you're charging enough to pay out taxes later, for sure.
Yeah.
Or to break even, hopefully. That's the goal, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I want to get into some of the submitted questions that we have, and then we have one last question for you, and then we're going to go break into Q&A. So we have two submitted questions for people that signed up and submitted a question immediately when they signed up. I'm not going to say who they are. I'm going to read them anonymously. However, if you all want to share in the chat that this is you, it's my question, and you have a follow-up question, have at it. We'll be happy to read it. The first one is, what's the biggest tip you can give around marketing your business?
Um. Hmm. Create a system in place for your marketing. Set a budget. You have to set a budget because there are some free sources of marketing, but sometimes you would have to pay for some marketing to either, pay for some ads on a promo or on a picture that you want to showcase to the world. So you have to put a budget in place and then put a system in place and try to automate it so that you're not doing it manually every time for every client.
Yeah. Um, Saving up, I mean, or creating some spare time is super important. I think that a lot of us miss that piece of creating the spare time for us.
Hmm.
We want to do everything manually. I did in the beginning. I was out here with Excel sheets looking crazy, right? And so we want to do everything manually, not realizing that we need to focus our energy somewhere else, or we could be having some free time over the off weekends if we just did everything like virtually or digitally.
Yeah, and that's it's new. So everyone is going to struggle in the beginning, but right now it's just like we have to automate because who knows when this virus is over, business is going to be booming and we don't
Yeah.
have systems in place and we're still using, like the spreadsheet or doing everything manually.
This is definitely like COVID is definitely the time to get all of your structures in place,
Hmm.
all of your processes, all of your budgeting, all of your behind the scene documents. This is the moment to do that. And if you're not currently doing that, I advise you to do it before we fully, completely 100% open up all the states. Do
Right,
it right now.
right now.
Like
Yesterday.
today. Yeah. Seriously. Okay. So the next submitted question is, do you provide the services of marketing products or services on behalf of an event planner for a month? And what would you typically charge for something like this?
From let's see. All of my packages are monthly. So marketing your products or your services, that can be one of the services that I do provide for you, along with something else, because I do have a list of services on my website, and you can choose from that list anything on that list plus more, depending on what you need help with. And of course, if I can't help you with that, I will let you know. But marketing your products and your services is something that I do help with. Um, let's see, it can range from 5 hours. It can range from like 5 to 40 hours. So it just depends on what you need.
And for clarification purposes, when you say that you're willing to help market the service or the product, are you just helping them with social media, or are you also helping them find avenues to market in different ways outside of social media, whether that be, magazines or articles or ads or, setting up business relationships in other places? Do you help with that in that area as well?
Yeah, I feel like everyone starts off with like the social media, then they go to the newsletters. So we put that whatever they're doing in the newsletters to target their audience, or even build their audience, because sometimes people have freebies or something paid that will get everyone to get on the list. So then building your list with the newsletters. Let's see. Ads, of course, definitely ads. Magazines, I haven't done that yet, but yeah, building those relationships with other people too, so that your services can be broadcasted other places.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I hope that answered that question. My next question for you before we get into the questions that are in the chat, because they already started loading some in, which is amazing. Um, what is the process like to hire your company to assist me as a planner if I wanted to hire you? What is the process like?
Okay, so the first thing is we you book a 30-minute consultation call. And in that call, I get to learn more about you and your business. Whatever you're struggling with, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what would you like the outcome to be? And then from that consultation call, I put you in a package based on your budget and all the services that you need. So, like I said, my packages are hourly. So I need to see how many hours it will take for me each month to complete those services. And then we go from there. After you say yes, you sign a contract, you put down your payment, and it's 50% due upon invoice, and then the rest of the invoice is due like 15 to 20 days after.
Okay. So when you say that it's a month by month basis, let's just say I was paying you to do um 20 hours in a month span, basically, right? Take some room. Am I paying you the 50% of the 20 hours, or am I paying you like every week once you log in the hours that you have serviced me with?
You are paying me 50% of the 20 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then later we'll go from there.
Yeah. And it's a flexible payment plan, so you can pay me whatever you want between those 15 and 20 days before, like your next month will start and I'll send you the new invoice.
So really the 50% is more like a deposit to get the services started in a
Yeah.
sense. It's not like a, hey, we'll pay 50% every month. After that, you all will arrange how payments will go after the 50% originally.
Yeah. So every month has the 50%. And then the rest you can pay within the 15 to 20 days.
Oh, okay. So every month it does have the 50%.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
like every time.
say that for me one more time.
Oh, it's like booking a new client every time, the non-refundable down payment, every client pays you that. But now it's just like for a VA, we do it monthly. So
Okay. Okay. So where can everyone keep in touch with you? What's going on? I know that you're doing something for your 2-year anniversary. Tell me a little bit more about that, and then we're going to get into the questions in the chat.
okay. So at the end of April, I made my 2 years anniversary. So I am giving 15% off any websites
Uh-oh.
and
Did we lose?
social media. Hello?
Say that one more time. I think you went out.
Okay. So 15% off any VA package. So it excludes website. It also excludes the Instagram account audit. So there's no code necessary. You just go online and sometimes it's easier if you book a call with me first and then we go into the pricing and stuff like that. But you can also check out my pricing on my website and then book a call after.
Okay. Perfect. So I have put in the chat if you want to know more about JussKayVa in her services. I put her website into the chat, and so you all should be able to access from there. On her website is where you can also book your consultation and take advantage of the 15%. Is there a cutoff day for that, Kavia, where they no longer? What's the cutoff?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, May 20th. Just had a little brain fart.
Okay.
May 20th.
Okay. So May 20th is the cutoff date for you all to take advantage of that 15% off. Just wanted to share that as well. Let's get into some of the questions that are in the chat. So before Amber asks, can you explain your services? So I'm assuming that she wants you to explain a little bit more of the services that you offer and what you're willing to do. And Amber, if you want to add in a follow-up question, the virtual assistant services, if you want to add in a follow-up question, you can whenever as she's talking. So go ahead, Kate.
Okay, so I always start off with like social media. So with the social media packages, depends on how many platforms that your business has. So it can be Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter. Depends on how many posts you would want a month. So it can range from 10, 15, 20, 30 posts a month. 30 meaning that you do post every single day or you post twice a day. Then it comes with follower engagement. So I will boost up your followers, find more followers for you, especially follow the people that are in your niche and your target audience. Sometimes people just follow you and it has nothing to do with you. So I'm not going to follow them because, that's just a waste of time.
For sure.
Also comes with like a hashtag strategy because hashtags are very valuable. So I come up with some hashtags for you. Also, depending on which social media package you choose, because I have the starter pack, I have the VIP package, and I have the premium package. And it all depends on how many posts you want and how many platforms you have. So email marketing, it can be creating newsletters for you, sending them out to your audience, creating a welcome email, building that list, creating digital offers or freebies so that you can get more people onto that list. And then, like managing that list because once you get, I say more than like 50 people on your list, it gets crazy because it's just like, I need to send out these newsletters so that they don't forget about me. They already signed up for something and they're on my list now. Now they can't forget about me. So it's like putting your name out there. Another thing is managing your inquiry. I would say your inquiry process. A lot of people don't have a system in place for inquiries. So, putting them through that process of either the consultation call or the in-person meeting, and then a proposal. Send them a proposal, just not an invoice right then and there. Some people don't have contracts, or some people don't have the right things in their contracts. So making sure that they get the contract, the invoice, and everything that they need in a timely manner, so that they don't go somewhere else and you just lose the client.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what if I, as a planner, I wanted to, I needed help with searching for venues for a client, or I have a lot of clients who are always in need of a venue. Would you help with the venue search process and narrow things down? Would you set up appointments for us to go to the venue and do site tours? Do you do any of that administrative work as well?
Yes, admin work is also, I feel like admin work is very broad, especially in the event professional industry, because it can be anything. But yes, also, one thing that you should have is like a preferred vendor list, so that you don't have to keep doing the same process over and over and over. So have that set list, so that when your clients ask, "Oh, I need a photographer," give them your best three photographers and see which one they like and fits in their budget. But
For sure.
building up those consultation calls with the venues or the other vendors, and making sure that everything runs smoothly and the communication stays in contact.
Awesome. Okay. So Jessica put into the chat, how do you help people who are not comfortable with social media?
I just take it away from them. People that are not comfortable with social media, those are the clients that that are not on top of me all the time. They just let me freely do what I need to do for their business. They'll give me some pointers here and there, but it's just like they're not comfortable, so they're not. It's not like they don't care. It's just that it's not something that they do. They have a stronger point in something else in their business other than social media. And social media, you need social media in your business. So everyone that's not comfortable with it, of course, they're going to outsource that task.
Yeah. And Jessica, just for clarification, if you can put in the chat, what do you mean by not comfortable? Is it not comfortable like you just don't know much about social media and how to use it? Or is it not comfortable to the point where you just don't have time to use it, or you don't care about social media, or you don't like it? Maybe you are just one of those people that prefer to talk to someone in person. I was that person at first. Like, listen, let's sit down and have a conversation. Like, I don't want you to talk to me through my comments. So what is it like for you? Jessica says I dislike it very much. Okay. And I mean, honestly, social media isn't for everyone, right? I didn't like it at first. I was like, look, either you're gonna book my service or not. Like, take this picture and move on. But for someone who disliked it, I would really encourage them to hire someone like JussKayVa. And if you don't necessarily think you need a virtual assistant, but maybe a social media manager or someone who's going to help grow your social media, or do whatever you need to do. I didn't have social media before I started my biz. So you didn't have any personal social media, not Facebook, not anything. Oh, oh, she really doesn't like it. Okay. So yeah, for someone like you, it's going to be difficult. I would literally give that task to someone else. But what I will say is you need to give it to someone, and I think Just K does this, but I think you need to give it to someone who can teach you some things along the way and tell you why they are doing what they're doing, right? Hey, I went into your social media today, and now we're going to post every 3 days or every blah, 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 because this. Or I went in and I unfollowed these amount of people because of this. So you're going to need someone who can kind of coach you through and understand your point in social media, because there's going to become a point that one day, and I'm not saying that this is just K, but what I'm saying is that there is going to be a point one day where maybe your VA or your social media manager is sick, they're tired, they can't meet the standard or the requirement of your social media. Maybe there's a death in the family, whatever that looks like, and you are going to have to be able to go into your social media and figure something out. So I would just say give someone who really can teach you just small things along the way. You don't have to be an expert in it. You don't have to learn everything, but someone who can give you some things along the way for sure.
Yeah, I would say basically just posting and using hashtags.
So I want to see, and I hope that I say her name right. Is it Naya? But I do want to read hers first before I go back up and read the other one. Given that social media is an essential tool we use to promote our businesses, what advice would you give to someone who doesn't want to utilize it at all? Like if it's an older person who doesn't use it, period.
All right, let me read this over.
I can read it again for you.
Okay.
So, given that social media is an essential tool we use to promote our businesses, what advice would you give to someone who doesn't want to utilize it at all? Like if it's an older person who doesn't use it.
I feel like especially with the older people, I would say computers and this new technology is not their thing, so they do outsource it to the younger people. But one thing I did find is that they do use social media to find us. That's how they find us, and I don't know
Yeah.
how they do it or what strategies they're using, but they do find us through social media. It's not like back in the day with I don't know how we used to do it back in the day, but
We didn't live back then. Look.
but what is an essential tool to promote your business? What advice would you give it? Yeah, I'm having a little brain fart. I feel
I
like
mean, go ahead.
I feel like the best advice is, start the process of learning. YouTube is available. The younger generation is available. And patience. You need patience. Without the patience, you're just going to throw your phone and not open social media ever again. So
Yeah.
you just need patience for it. That's number one.
Honestly, also take care of some of these free offers right now during COVID. It's a real thing, right? A lot of people are doing free webinars. A lot of people are doing free video chats and lives where they're giving tips on social media. Take advantage of those opportunities. I'm not going to say that they're going to teach you everything or they're going to do the social media for you like JussKay would, but it'll at least be a starting point so that you at least know what an algorithm is, right? You at least need to know the base words so that when Kavia comes in, you're like, listen, based on your algorithm, you at least know what she means.
Yeah.
So I would start taking advantage of those. But for the older people, and Kavia, you can tell me what you think about this too. For the older people, I also realize that maybe it's a good idea to for sure hire someone, right? Because it's just not going to happen for you. And you, especially if they don't care to learn it, you know what I mean? Or who just doesn't utilize it at all, like she said in the question. I would try really hard to learn through like somewhere like Skillshare because it's not considered social media. So we can't really tell an older person, hey, in order to learn social media, you got to go use social media, go on live and listen to this new thing. Sometimes you have to come back and give them resources that isn't on social media because they don't already use it. So maybe something like Skillshare.com or something like that, where it's just them going on and it's like courses where they're learning something over time. And there were so many places that were offering digital marketing courses, like so many schools, Harvard, all of those places that were offering certificate courses. So take advantage of those too.
I just took one in graphic design.
Yeah, I took one in grant writing, email marketing. Like,
Yeah,
listen, of those free opportunities for sure.
I've signed up for so many during quarantine. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jessica also asked, do you charge for your consultation calls?
No. My first consultation call is free. So it's a 30-minute consultation call. So I don't charge for that one. Usually there is no more follow-up calls after that. So I never thought to charge. We just go through email and all of that. But recently there has been at least 2 follow-up consultation calls that I did not charge for. So that's something that, I have to take into consideration. And you don't know something unless you do it. So you don't build that process unless it happens already. So now I have to go in the process and, charge for that second consultation or that third consultation call now.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so, and I don't know if she meant, Jess, if you want to clarify as well. I just gave you a whole nickname, like we like best friends. And if you want to clarify, if you meant charging for the services for VA. Oh, great. She said for her VA business. Okay, so yeah, I think it's good to definitely have that portal where you're giving something free first. It kind of gets the door for sure. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. Okay, so I do want to open up the floor for any other questions while we have about 5 more minutes to address anything else, any other questions that you may have for Kavia as well as for me. I am going to put in here, if you are not already subscribed to the Planners Corner, please do so now and follow us on social media. The Planners Corner is a resource hub for event planners or event professionals. And we do monthly coffee break videos and interviews. We also do video chats that are free where we table certain topics. We have webinars going on. A lot of our stuff right now is virtual due to COVID, of course, but eventually we'll start getting back to community service events out in the public and, wine dinners and all of those type of things where we can let our hair down as planners together. So make sure that you are subscribed to the Planners Corner to get all of those details. And in the meantime, feel free to ask any additional question. It doesn't have to be just, virtual assistant related. It can be about anything else in terms of your business or something that you're struggling with. And so feel free to ask those questions in the chat at this moment. I know that when we did the poll, most of our people were having trouble in their business or struggling in their business with marketing and getting more clients and finding time to manage everything. So Kavia, is there anything that you want to address in terms of the poll about marketing and getting more clients and finding time to manage your clients until maybe we have any other questions in the chat?
For right now, marketing and getting more clients, I would say now that we have a lot more downtime, usually a lot of our tasks will take until December to complete, but right now we have a lot of downtime. So we have the opportunity to create some systems. And I would say how I tell my clients to utilize social media to get more clients is hashtags. So going through hashtags and finding their likes or whatever that you think that they will use or go through, following them, joining Facebook groups. So putting in those specific keywords in Facebook and joining all these groups and getting them. I would say creating freebies to build that list, because the people that join, who grab your freebie, are your potential clients. Marketing, do like a sale or market your freebie, market your business, market something that would stand out for everybody. In terms of finding time to manage everything, I feel like everyone has problems with time. I have problems with time, but you need a process that's going to work for you. Like for me, I told myself that I need to start writing things down in order for me to manage my time a little more. It's not everything's just in my brain. And when I'm working, especially at nighttime, my brain goes crazy. So it's going to get lost. So I have to start writing things down to manage my time now. So it's just finding what's best for you to start managing your time, and also timing yourself, putting on timers, like constant timers or reminders in your phone and your calendar everywhere, that you know that you will be alert in order for you to manage your time a little more.
And Kavia, what's your typical off days? Is there a time that you're like, listen, I don't work every Monday. It's just my personal time. It's my self-care time. What are those off days like for you?
To be honest, I don't think I have any off days. My mind is always racing from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. Of course, I do enjoy not doing computer work, but I find myself on the computer 24/7. And if I'm not on the computer, I'm either laying down or in bed. We can't really do anything right now, but an off day.
She's like, what's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really get them because I'm just always, even if I'm not working, like I said in the beginning, I'm creating something that I can potentially sell if I put all the processes in place or something, or
Yeah.
creating something to post on my social media. So I would say that's probably my off time, doing not even like working on my business or working on anyone else's businesses, but just doing something on the computer. I feel like the computer is my life.
Yeah. Okay. I know for me and someone else who's in here, Khadija, we just actually had a talk about how sometimes we go to sleep with our computer and we wake up with the computer like next to us. Like that's it's like our loved one at that point. You know what I mean? Because we're always on it. We're always thinking of a new idea. I used to wake up at like 3 in the morning and like have to write down something that happened in my dream just to get my thoughts out. So I get it. I get that your alone time probably is attached to your computer for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't see any other questions in the chat. If you all want to ask any, then you can email them over. I'll be happy to send them to Kavia and she can respond at her leisure. Kavia, tell me where they can find you on social media and spell it out for them, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so Instagram is JussKayVa, so JussKayVa. That's my VA one. And for my events, it's Just K Events, JussKayEvents. Same as Facebook, Just KVA and Just K Events.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So you all take advantage of her 15% off services as of right now until May 20th. Kavia, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure interviewing you and having you always. You all will start to see some more. If you're subscribed to the Planners Corner, you'll start to see more emails coming from me and Kavia, as well as our other official sponsors. One of our official sponsors is actually in this chat as well. Her name is Amber with Brand Felt Experience. And so if you go to our website at the bottom where you see our sponsors, you can click on their logos and it'll take you directly to their website as well. So we appreciate you all for joining us and for listening in. Kavia, we appreciate you, of course, for helping us host the second coffee break. And we look forward to hearing more things from Kavia and as well as hearing more from our audience in our next coffee break.
Thank you.
So love you guys, appreciate you guys, and you all have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye.